While the world views Taehyung as one of the music industry's brightest stars, few understand the other side of his life, a side that is simple, peaceful, and full of closeness to nature. Behind the glittering stage, the sound of cheering fans, and a busy schedule, Taehyung, or more familiarly called V by his fans, harbors a great passion for an activity that many may never have expected. Sea fishing a few weeks ago. A simple news came out from BTS's manager. Taehyung is taking a weekend off, the manager said when asked about V's absence from one of their latest album promotion events. This news immediately attracted the attention of fans around the world, giving rise to various speculations. However, the real reason is very simple. Taehyung just wants to take some time for himself, away from the glitter of the entertainment world, and get closer to the tranquility of the ocean. Taehyung is not only a singer with a melodious voice or a talented actor, but also a human being who has the occasional need to escape the pressures of public life. As a member of one of the biggest boy bands in the world, his schedule is filled with rehearsals, tours, interviews, and endless interactions with the media. The life of a K-pop idol does look glamorous, but the reality is often much more complex. For Taehyung, the routine sometimes feels like an endless wheel. Like any other human being, he also needs time to reflect, let go of burdens, and welcome the simple happiness that often escapes in an overly busy life. And for him, sea fishing is the perfect escape. Life at sea makes me feel free, Taehyung revealed in one of his previous interviews. There is something so peaceful about the sound of the waves and the salty smell of the sea. There, I was able to forget everything, both about work, other people's expectations, and the pressures I faced. That Saturday morning, Taehyung left his residence wearing casual clothes, a long-sleeved t-shirt, denim pants, and a bucket hat. There are no luxury cars or escort groups that usually accompany his presence. Only a small car took him to the pier in one of the coastal cities of South Korea, whose name is kept secret for the sake of preserving his privacy. When he reached the dock, he was greeted by a ship's captain named Minjun, a middle-aged man who had been a fisherman for more than 2 decades. At first, I didn't know who he was, Minjun said with a laugh when asked for a comment about his special guest. He came with a friendly smile and said he wanted to rent my boat for fishing. I just found out she is one of the BTS members of my daughter. With his trademark smile, Taehyung helps Minjun prepare their small boat. No luxuries, just a simple wooden boat with fishing tackle, bait box, and cooler to store their catch. A cool sea breeze and a characteristic salty smell greeted them as the boat began to leave the pier, wading through the calm, sea in the middle of the ocean. Taehyung seemed to enjoy every moment. Painstakingly, he put the bait on his fishing hook, threw the line into the water, and waited patiently. There are no cameras or microphones pointing at him, only the hissing of the waves and the sounds of seagulls accompany. Fishing teaches patience, Taehyung tells Minjun in the middle of their casual chat. I used to think life was like fishing. We don't always get what we want, but we have to keep trying and be patient. Minjun, accustomed to the harsh life at sea, is impressed by Taehyung's outlook on life. He was not only a big star, but also a humble and thoughtful person, she said. Over the next few hours, they talked about a lot, from life experiences to small stories about the sea. Between chats, there are moments of silence that feel full of meaning. Taehyung sat at the end of the boat, looking toward the seemingly endless horizon. The warm light of the sun shone on his face, creating a soft shadow on the water. In that silence, Taehyung muses about his life's journey. From an ordinary boy in Daegu who dreamed of becoming a singer to becoming one of the most recognizable faces in the world. It all felt like a dream, but at the same time, there was a part of him that longed for the simplicity of the past. When I'm at sea like this, it feels like I'm back to my true self, she says slowly. I don't have to be a V. I'm just Taehyung, a man who loves nature and peace. That day, Taehyung managed to catch some small fish. There was no big catch, but his smile showed that it wasn't the important thing. For Taehyung, that experience is more meaningful. When the boat returned to the dock late in the afternoon, he helped Minjun clean up the fishing tools and split their catch. Before parting ways, Taehyung thanks Minjun for the valuable experience. "I'll be back one day," he promised. Minjun just smiled and nodded. "The door of my boat is always open to you," he replied. When news of Taehyung's fishing trip finally spread, his fans around the world gave a mixed response. Some praised her for her courage to take time for herself in the midst of a hectic schedule, while others felt inspired to find peace in their busy lives. "Taehyung always taught us to appreciate the little moments in life," wrote one fan on social media. He reminds us that it's okay to take time for yourself. Taehyung's short trip to the sea is not only a vacation, but also a reminder that behind all the hustle and bustle and demands of life, we all need time to pause, breathe, and rediscover happiness in simple things. Hopefully, this article provides a deep insight into how a big star like Taehyung stays connected to his human side. If you have any questions or want to add other elements to this story, let me know. After returning to the dock, Taehyung did not immediately rush home. He chose to take a walk around the small fishing village near the pier. The place is full of simplicity that is almost like from the past. Wooden houses are lined along the beach, with clotheslines of fish hanging under the afternoon sun, and small children playing merrily on the seafront point. One of the memorable moments was when a little boy who was playing in the sand came up to him. At first, the boy seemed hesitant, but eventually ventured to ask, "Are you Taehyung from BTS?" Taehyung smiled warmly, patted the boy's head gently, and nodded. "Yes, that's me. But today I'm just Taehyung, a friend who loves fishing," he said in a friendly tone. The boy looked happy, and without being asked, he showed his house not far from the pier. The boy's family kindly invites Taehyung to sit in their yard for a while. There, he was treated to a cup of warm tea and a traditional snack in the form of sweet rice cakes. During a casual conversation with the family, Taehyung expresses his gratitude for their hospitality. "It feels like coming home," he said. "You guys remind me of my family in Daegu." The moment with a simple family made Taehyung even more aware of how valuable family values and a warm community are. In the midst of the great success he has achieved, there is an inevitable longing for a more intimate and close life with loved ones. He remembered his childhood, when he often sat with his grandfather on the veranda of the house looking at the stars. "My grandfather always said, 'Never forget the roots, wherever you go.' And I think, today I feel like I'm back to those roots," she said. In this small place, away from the glitter of the big city and hectic schedules, Taehyung rediscovers the simple meaning of happiness. As the sun begins to sink behind the horizon, Taehyung decides to capture the moment. He pulled out his small camera, one of those things he always carries with him everywhere. With a camera lens, he captured the beauty of the sun emitting a golden-orange color over the sea, a scene that he said could never be found on the screen of a mobile phone or computer. Art is the best way to save a moment, he thought. And for Taehyung, the art is not only in music, but also in photography, another hobby he loves besides fishing. Taehyung decides to stay overnight in the coastal city, avoiding the long journey back to the big city. He chose a small inn owned by an elderly couple who had lived there for a long time. The inn is simple but warm, with large windows overlooking the sea. That night, Taehyung sits on the small balcony of his room, looking up at the star-filled night sky. In big cities like Seoul, this kind of scenery is almost impossible to find.